So have you been looking at building a custom house here in Naples, Florida, but you don't know what the exact costs are looking like here in 2025? Well, in this video, we are going to be breaking down all of the costs and being as transparent as possible of what the real and true building costs are going to be if you're looking to build in Collier County and Naples, Florida here in 2025. My name is Noah. I am a real estate broker here in Naples and Sarasota, and I own a custom home development company called Jane Development Group, where we build luxury custom houses. We are currently in the process of about to break ground on a 6,000 square foot house on the water just up in Sarasota right now. That one is probably going to be one of the most beautiful houses that we have built, so stay tuned for that update. But like I said, not many builders are talking about what it's truly going to cost you to build a custom house that is mid to higher grade finishes in 2025. So we are going to be breaking down the costs, the different hidden things to know that are maybe associated with building that a lot of people don't give you. We're going to be talking about impact fees, site prep fees, permit costs, and any other fees that are associated with building a custom house here in 2025 here in Naples. So before we get started breaking down all the numbers, guys, if you guys have questions or if you guys just want to chat with me and my general contractor partner, Josh, about what it's like to build a custom house with us. He has 20 plus years in the construction industry doing luxury remodels and building custom houses. So if you want to chat with us, you guys can reach out to us with our contact information down in the description down below. So let's go in and let's start talking about what exactly is it going to cost, right? So obviously, if you're looking at building a house, you either one, have the land, or two, you still have to acquire the land, right? But that is for a different video that we will save. So let's just imagine that you guys already have the land and you don't have to worry about acquiring the land. So first things first, we're gonna have to go into engineering, which first is we have to get surveys done on the property, which on a typical property, a survey is going to run us for site or for a boundary, topo, elevation, all that kind of stuff. We are looking at about $2,000, give or take. There's some companies that'll do it a little bit cheaper, but our guys do surveys anywhere between $1,500 to $2,500, just depending on the overall size. So that right there will take about 2 weeks, 1 to 2 weeks to get. And then we can actually go into designing your house, right? So depending on what size house you're looking at, we are going to be basing all of our numbers off of a 2,500 square foot mid to higher end custom house here, what the cost is going to be. So the biggest key difference is, are you going to be getting your plans engineered and are you going to get architecturals done first before you go into structural engineering? Or are you going to have a structural engineer design the whole entire house? Those are two major things to look at when you're designing the floor plan. Is if you're going to be paying an architect, right? So for a set of architectural plans, you're going to be paying about probably $20,000 for the plans. If you have a draftsman do it, you're going to be paying about $10,000. Then you have to have an architect stamp it, which obviously they have to review it and look at it, so they have to work hand in hand with one another. And then you send it to structurals, which structurals can cost another, $6,000 to $20,000, just really depending on what you're looking to do. So we've had quotes for, like, let's say that 6,000 square foot house that we're designing. They are going to be all in between draftsman, architecture, and structurals, about $45,000 to $50,000 all in. They'll have stamped approved ready plans to submit to the county for building. And then like a house, say this size, which is like 2,000 square feet, just a little under 2,000 square foot. Obviously, you don't need a structural engineer or an architect to design this. It's a little unnecessary, in my opinion, for cost savings. So to have a structural engineer either do all the design work or have a draftsman do it, and then a structural engineer, that's going to cost you about $6,000 to about $14,000, give or take. So that $14,000 on the cheap side, $45,000, $50,000 on the higher side. But then if you want to go with the top engineering firm, top architectural firm, you're looking at spending over $100,000 on plans and architectural specs, which in my opinion, it's a waste of money unless you're building a waterfront house that is absolutely amazing, or a multi-million dollar house. So we have the design fees first, right? Then we go into what is it going to cost for the site prep. So we're going to base our numbers off of a 1/4 acre piece of land. So in order for us to clear a 1/4 acre piece of land, we're gonna pay tree clearing guys. So as you guys can see, there's trees back here. But in order to clear this property right here, we would have had to have paid, you know, anywhere from $12,000 to $15,000 to clear the trees, haul them away, and bring it to a smooth grade. And then obviously we have to bring in our dirt, right? So depending on how much dirt you're gonna have to bring in. Right now, we're bringing in about 30 loads of dirt to about 40 loads of dirt at $375 each. That's costing us about $12,000 to $15,000 in just dirt costs. Then we obviously have a compaction test, grading, all that, which is several $1,000s more. So we're looking at between site prep, land clearing, all that, we're looking at about $30,000 to $40,000 for the site prep and land clearing. Obviously, we could go a little cheaper, just depending on the exact property. This property is built up significantly, as you can see on the sides over here. But some properties we may not have to build up, you know, maybe 1 or 2 feet. The other properties will have to build up 7 to 10 foot. Just really depends on the specific property that we're building in. So once we do all of that, I forgot to mention, what is it going to cost us to do the permits and the permit fees and any other fees that are associated with Collier County. So right now, if we're looking at building in the city of Naples, they require it's 50 cents a square foot. So if we're doing a 2,500 square foot house, that is going to be $1,250 for the permit fee, the building permit fee. Then obviously we have a plan review fee, which is 50% of the permit fee. So half of $1,250 is going to be $625. So that is what the review fee is going to be. Now, these are all going to vary if you're building in the city of Naples or in Collier County. Collier County is just a little bit different, but all the fees are relatively the same, give or take. So you're going to spend, you know, give or take $2,000, $2,000 to $2,500 on permits and fees. That doesn't include impact fees either. And we'll get to the permit and impact fees here shortly. And then obviously we're going to have to do more environmental surveys, all that kind of stuff to this property. So like any environmental assessment or any environmental surveys that are needing to be done to test for upland soils, wetland soils, anything of that nature that is going to be key, which those can run you about $2,000 for any other environmental stuff that tells whether or not you have wetland soils, upland soils, and so forth. So there is a lot of, let's say, survey fees, paper fees, all that kind of stuff before you even break ground on a house. And that's why a lot of people underestimate the true cost of building, because they just see, oh, Noah, what is your price per square foot to build? I could give you, you know, a $200 swing of a price per square foot, but that could vary on a 2,500 square foot house. That can vary $500,000, $250,000 to, you know, $750,000 in just a swing when you're not being specific on what property are we building on, what are you looking to build, specs, size, all that good stuff, right? So then if we take a little bit of a closer look, we have to then go into, once we have all the surveys done, all the environmentals done, all the land clearing done, all the permits done, all that kind of stuff. Once we have that done, obviously now it's coming to, Noah, how much is it costing you to build a house? That is a fantastic question, because we get that asked all the time. First question that comes out of anyone's mouth is, Noah, how much can you build for me? Because this builder down the road can build for X, right? I hate giving, you know, the most vague answers, because 1, it's skewed, 2, it's a lie, 3, it's misleading. You know, when you ask a builder, what's your price per square foot? I could give you a price. Like I said, it's going to vary though. So I'd rather take a look at the property and give you an accurate price instead of just throw out a number at you just so that you have a number. I'd rather sit down with you, work with you to figure out what exactly you're looking to build so that we can actually get you a pretty precise cost estimate on that. So let's say we have all the pad work done, all the land clearing, all that good stuff. We're sitting at a compacted pad, right? Now it comes time to the building per square foot. So right now we're building houses between $225 a square foot to, you know, $275 a square foot. Right now that waterfront house is costing us about $325 a square foot that we're building, $350 about $350 a square foot. Excluding all the other accessories that are outside of, such as the $100,000 concrete fence that's going around the property, anything else that they're looking to do, like a putting green, all that kind of stuff. So right now we're building, like I said, $225 to $300 a square foot. So if we're taking that into account on a 2,500 2,500 square foot house, we're realistically in the ballpark of about $560,000 to just over $700,000 on a 2,500 square foot house, just depending on the materials. If you're looking at, you know, quartz countertops, soft close cabinets, those are pretty much standard for us. My GC, Josh, owns a countertop fabrication company, so we get all of our quartz slabs, marble slabs, quartzite slabs, all those at wholesale prices, which is amazing. But right now, so if you're looking at that, you're looking at spending, you know, all in on that between surveys, all that kind of stuff, you're looking at probably a little over $650,000, $700,000. Yes, you can build a house cheaper than that. This house right here, for example, this is just a little over 1,700 square foot house. I am selling it right now for $500,000, right? So just depending on the layout, right? This one had low to mid-grade finishes and then pretty standard builder spec finishes. So this house obviously was able to be built a little bit more cost effective, which is totally doable just depending on your specific property. So we talked about survey costs, we talked about land clearing costs, we talked about permit fees, survey fees, all that good stuff. Now let's look into what is it going to cost us to do maybe landscaping, right? A landscaping package for a lot of people, that's going to vary. Our standard landscaping package for, you know, a house is going to be, you know, anywhere from $7,000 to $15,000. And then some people, they want to spend a little bit more because they want to add some foxtail palms. They want to add St. Augustine grass throughout the whole property. They want to do a whole bunch of different plantings. Then obviously that is going to cost us a little bit more. So right now, add about $15,000 to $25,000 for landscaping. If you just want to do a basic landscape package, similar to like what this house has, with the sod and everything, probably about $5,000 to $7,000. So like I said, all depends on your price point. If you're going luxury, more spec, or if you're going to go mid to, you know, mid-range finishes. And then finally, obviously, before we get the CO, we're going to have to go into impact fees. Everyone asks me, Noah, what exactly is an impact fee? So an impact fee is everything that is going to be paid out through to Collier County. So I'll pull up an example here really quick. So these are the fees that you're paying to like schools, the fire department, the police department, all that good stuff. So I want to break down these fees for a 2,500 square foot house for you right now. So in total, an impact fee has to be paid before you can get the certificate of occupancy. In order to get that, we have to pay this impact fee, which this impact fee for a 2,500 square foot house in Collier County is going to run us just a little over $23,000. So if you guys think back to the beginning of this video, when we talk about all the different fees that are associated with building that are out of our control, we have survey fees, impact fees, permit fees, environmental assessment fees, all that kind of stuff, which we're looking north of, right now, we're looking north of maybe $50,000 to $60,000 in just paperwork almost. Paperwork, fees, and permits. $60,000, boom, there it goes out the window, right? Obviously, for a big house, it's going to be a little bit more, but for a property of like this size, that's about it. So when people are like, wow, building costs so much these days, they don't take into account the $60,000 in paperwork fees that we have to do. So let's take a look and break down this impact fee a little bit closer. So right now, obviously, we have medical services, fire, the building department, the government buildings, the jails, law enforcement, library, the parks, park community, roadways, and schools. So schools alone are $8,700, roads are $8,000. The next largest one will be the parks, which is almost $3,000, and then everything else is about $900, $500, and $200. So all in, impact fees are going to be $23,000. Once those are paid, we're able to hand you that certificate of occupancy. So now, a lot of people ask me, well, Noah, this is all great and all to know how much it really costs us to build a house, but how long is it taking you to build a house, right? So right now, depending on, once we are ready to break ground on a property, right? So all the paperwork, the building, the design side, all that kind of stuff could take months, just depending on it, how meticulous you are, how specific your house is, the design, all that kind of stuff. So once we are ready to break ground on a property, it is taking us for a custom house, 3,000 square foot in size. If we're using 2,500 square foot in size, it is taking us 9 to 10 months to build from the start of breaking ground to the time we actually hand you over the keys, right? And once again, in that building costs is our GC fee. A lot of people ask, well, Noah, what's your GC fee outside of that? Our GC fee is baked into the price per square foot that I gave you on the building cost side of things. So as you guys can see, we are a very transparent builder. We don't like to lie about numbers. If you go on my YouTube channel here, you're gonna see cost breakdowns of builds we've done. You're gonna see us doing house walkthroughs. You're gonna be seeing us breaking ground on this 6,000 square foot waterfront house very soon here. And you guys will get the full truth of the real cost of building. No bullshit, no hidden fees. Because at the end of the day, Josh and I aren't here to, hide a little money here, put a little money there, slide in a little fee there. We're very transparent upfront with you. That's why we like to sit down, look at your lot specifically so that we don't give you inaccurate numbers, right? And if you guys want to work with a builder that is truly transparent about building a house that'll work with you, that sends you updates, that doesn't ghost you, that responds within 24 hours or less, you guys can reach out to us with our contact information down below. We're going to be breaking down everything you need to know about your specific custom house build, and we'll be upfront and straight with you guys. We're only looking to take on a few more builds. Obviously, at this time, it is almost May of 2025, so we do have limited spots available, especially here in Naples. So if you guys want to contact us, reach out to us. You guys can provide your contact information, send us your email. And we'd be happy to at least get an idea, give you an idea of what it's going to truly cost to build a house for you in Naples in 2025. So with all that being said, I appreciate you guys checking out this video. Go and check out our Decade VIP email list with the link in the description down below. And of course, we will catch you guys next week.